What if I told you that 5 years before the Great Calcutta Killings of 1946, a Holi celebrations day would eventually turn out into a playbook for the communal violence during partition which we have witnessed in history? You also will be completely shocked to know that the horrors of 1947 partition were not just spontaneous, they were just perfected during a series of riots starting right from March 1941, Dhaka Riots. Today, we are not just uncovering another communal riot. This was the event that introduced forced conversions in Bengal. And the most shocking part, the British government knew it was coming, but did nothing to stop it. Today, in this video, you will understand how a day of Holi celebration turned into a blueprint of genocides. But before starting, to avoid any further confusion, let me be very clear that today's Dhaka, capital of Bangladesh, was at that time called Dhaka. Let's start with some stats first. Eventually you will come to know why I am speaking about these things. In 1941, Dhaka, Muslims were 56.5% of the population, but they were very economically backward. Dhaka had 280 moneylenders per lakh people. And guess what? Almost all of these moneylenders were Hindu. Why? Islam law prohibits usury, so Muslims could not become moneylenders. The result, while Hindus built what officials reports called palatial residences, Muslims lived in what the British described as overpopulated, insanitary and filthy slums. The cost of living had increased by 200% due to Second World War. Rice imports had been stopped from Burma. Food prices were skyrocketing. And who controlled the food trade? Obviously Hindu merchants. Muslim traders accused Hindus of cornering cloth and essential items for higher profits. The stage was set for an economic depression. The real dynamite was about to come. But first let me tell you that this 1941 riots is not one of its kind. These subsidiaries went back and dated back to the 1926 and 1930 riots. Now coming back to the story, meet Fazlul Huq, the man whose political opportunism would cost Bengal hundreds of lives. In 1937, his Krishak Praja Party had promised dal bhat to all Bengalis. He crushed the Muslim League candidate Nazimuddin in his own constituency. But here's the main political twist. When Congress wanted to form a coalition government with Huq, the Congress wanted to release all the political prisoners first. But Huq insisted on settlement of the agrarian debts because that was his main criteria. So Huq made what the historians called the biggest political blunder. He allied with Muslim League. In his government, 9 out of 11 ministers were zamindars, the very people who he had promised to destroy. Later on, under immense pressure, Huq joined the Muslim League completely. And here's the chilling observation by historian Sheila Sen. To satisfy the Muslim League, it was necessary to arouse communal anti-Hindu passions among the masses. The systematic targeting had begun. 2 laws that came into effect were weapons aimed directly at Hindu economic interests. The Bengal Tenancy Amendment Act of 1938 and the Bengal Moneylenders Act of 1940. Then came the Secondary Education Bill, which stated that out of the 50 members, 22 would be Hindus, 20 would be Muslims, and 7 would be Europeans. Well, let's think about this. Hindus were 75% of secondary school students, but Hindus would only get 44% representation. The Hindu Mahasabha went nuts by these reservations. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee, founder of Bharatiya Jansangh, now known as BJP, threatened that if this bill was passed, Hindus would fight the menace rather than reduce themselves to a state of subservience in the state of culture. Mukherjee literally stated that Hindus and Muslims' education must run separately. The Hindu Mahasabha was holding massive rallies. They had 366 branches across Bengal, with 153 established just within a year. They were organizing physical training camps, teaching self-defense techniques to young Hindus. The militarization of the communities just had begun. But the real spark to the gunpowder was the 1941 census propaganda. Both the communities were convinced the other was manipulating population numbers. In March 1941, Fazlul Huq made a statement that was pure political dynamite. I am convinced Muslims will be shown as 30% and Hindus over 60. And then surfaced his nuclear opinion of creation of Pakistan. The Hindu Mahasabha's response was immediate and furious. They held a massive protest in Calcutta on March 3rd, demanding Huq's removal for mental imbalance. Meanwhile, the Star of India, the Muslim League newspaper, published an inflammatory warning. The time has come for the little rats to know that the lion is not dead, only sleeping. Hindus will see to whom Bengal belongs. Here, the little rats was referred to Hindus and lion was referred to Muslims. Even the Bengal governor admitted in a confidential report to the viceroy that communal tensions had hit the threshold. The fuse was lit, the stage was spread, and all that was needed was a spark so that a full-fledged communal violence would engulf the whole of Bengal. Now coming to March 14, 1941, the day of Holi celebrations. Holi was being celebrated in Sankhari Bazar, where Hindu conch shell workers lived. Police officials were preventing any mishaps of colored water being poured on Muslims, but one incident of colored water accidentally falling on a Muslim woman was the spark that would change the nature of communal violence in Bengal forever. The interesting fact, March 15 and March 16 was simply quiet. Organized preparations were going on for a wider scale communal violence. March 17, the systematic targeting began. Hindu milkmen were attacked at Naya Sarak Yusuf Market. That night, 12 Hindus and 6 Muslims were assaulted across the city. A Muslim named Faiz Khan was stabbed to death at that night. March 18, the first pitched battle erupted at Manohar Khan Bazar Junction. Even the additional superintendent of police was attacked with bricks when he tried to intervene. But the real horror began with the systematic arson. The method was terrifyingly organized. Rioters would pour kerosene under shop doors and insert burning rags on sticks. The Enquiry Committee noted that Dhaka had no firefighting equipment except a converted watering cart with a leaky hose. From March 19th to 21st, the Hindu business center at Chowk was systematically destroyed. Mail delivery was stopped for 2 weeks. Curfew was declared and Eastern Frontier Rifles were called in. While Dhaka city was burning, something more sinister was going on from April 1st. The rural thanas of Raipura, Shibpur and Narsingri became killing fields. Here's the chilling pattern. Large bands of Muslims, sometimes 2,000 strong, attacked Hindu villages. But this time, they came with lists. They had predetermined targets. Only the rich moneylenders and the businessmen were targeted. The most horrifying innovation from this riot itself was the mass conversion of Hindus and forcefully converting them to Muslims. Just listen to this official testimony of the official Enquiry Committee that stated, Hindus, you have been given 7 days, after which Muslims are free to attack you. You must either accept Islam or leave the locality. One Hindu victim also said that after his house was looted, Muslims came and said that if he and his family did not embrace Islam, his house would be burned. So they were forced to recite the kalma, wear lungis and given a protection paper that read, "We of Laterba Palpara have embraced the sacred Islamic faith." The conversions came with serious conditions, which stated that the converted Hindus would have to eat beef at common feasts and also would have to marry off their women to Muslim men. This was not just spontaneous violence. This was pre-planned religious persecution. Now we head to some of the events that completely showed that the state machinery completely failed to protect the Hindus from this illogical torture. Rioters attacked police with chants of Allahu Akbar and Pakistan Zindabad. On March 19th, Eastern Frontier Rifles had to open fire, killing 5 rioters in self-defense. Streets were barricaded with broken planks and nails to prevent police cars from reaching violent zones. Inspector Allen was nearly shot from a Hindu house on March 21st, leading to 94 Hindu arrests. Police incompetence was staggering. A police sub-inspector named Ansaruddin literally vanished during the worst violence. His duty diary was fabricated later with wrong dates. Also, 2 other officers ignored the burning Chowk area for less important duties. A known burglar named Arman had surrendered to police before the riots, saying he would be falsely implicated. He was allowed to stay at the police station but roam completely free during the day, essentially using the police as safe haven for his criminal activities. From March 17 to June 3rd, there were 86 reported stabbings in the city. The Enquiry Committee called it an orgy of indiscriminate stabbing because beggars and disabled people were also not spared so long as the number of victims could be increased. By April 8, 10,000 refugees had fled to Agartala in Tripura. The ruler of Tripura, Maharaja Manikya Bahadur, helped them settle. Some of them were so traumatized that they planned to permanently settle there. The Hindu Mahasabha sent photographs of the casualties to newspapers nationwide. A Bengali pamphlet circulated on April 17th read, "Brothers, kick at the British lion and seize the sceptre of justice in your own hands. Stab your assailant at his heart. Unite all the Hindus and attack Muslim localities in an organized way and annihilate them." The Dhaka Anushilan party was reportedly procuring bombs and arms. Members were advised to stockpile daggers. One intercepted letter requested double-edged daggers and warned you are living in Mohammedan rain. The special branch reported that the Hindu Mahasabha's position had greatly improved while Congress support declined. Hindus refused to contribute to the Congress relief funds but readily supported Mahasabha's effort. Why is this specific riot so important to understand? Because it caused the disruption of the DNA of the communal violence thereafter. Before 1941, riots were only economic, targeting wealthy moneylenders during economic distress. There was restraint. In 1930, when Muslim rioters attacked the house with 4 young Hindu girls alone, they only took jewelry. After 1941, the restraint which we talked earlier completely vanished. Violence was now targeting whole of the Hindu community regardless of the economic statuses. Forced conversions were now a mainstream thing in every violence. More critically, communal violence became explicitly linked to Pakistan. This was not a Hindu-Muslim kind of riots anymore. This was a blueprint for partitioning. The methods that were perfected in Dhaka, organized mobs with predetermined target lists, forced conversions with documentation, systematic arson techniques, political slogans during violence. This became the standard operating procedure for 1946 to 1947 till the partitioning of India.